Yo. Oh, starting that. We're doing that again. So, what I'm here saying, doing, feeling, or whatever, I had thrown out a whole recording or whatever because, not that interesting. So I'm just gonna tell you what you missed. Here, I figured out what was like going on in the mouths. I needed to general import instead of import as an SVG. So I think I got the mouths to work. Well, at least I got them to not do what they were doing. So, nah, that's not working. So, let me see. Interesting. So I wonder what happens if I, like, delete the mask. Because, like, that's my problem with this. Well, I guess it's time to experiment. What if I were to do this? Will it do the same thing that I do not like? What if I were to take out? Because I don't know why it adds these, like, extra masks or whatever. I think it's super weird how it does that. Let's turn off masking. No masking in this group. And then we'll turn it back on to see how it works. Because maybe it's going to work now. I'm not sure. If it doesn't, then I'm just going to have to, like, turn it back on regularly. And that's going to be disappointing, too. But, we're going to try it. Because, like, I really don't like bothering with this. It's not great to me, at least. Because, you see? It's not doing what it's supposed to do. Which is weird to me. I don't know if it's weird to you. Because, let's move these. I think the problem is the weird masking. You probably can't see any of this, but I am going into the masking, seeing what's going on with it. Because it should be, I don't know. Because it should be masking the mouth, you know? Oh, it is. It is, kinda, sorta. But, it is kinda doing what it's supposed to do. But it's also not. Because this is kinda what it's supposed to do. What it's supposed to be doing, at least. But is not really doing it in the way that it's supposed to. Not mask. Exclude strokes. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I'm just not going to bother with it anymore. If it wants to go out of its way to be all horrible and pissy, then who am I to say that it's not allowed to? I just don't feel like bothering with it anymore. Just Moho's going to have to figure out how this works. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it anymore. Maybe I need to, like, import it in a way where it's not already masked because it already adds masks to it. I don't know. I just think it's weird. Because, like, it should work in the way that it's supposed to, at least. But it doesn't want to do that. And so that makes me upset in that way. But, it's not for me to worry about. As I was saying, while you were gone, I got the valves in. They're not fixed, apparently. What So, done the mouths, done the other side of the thing, and you're wondering, like, what is this thing over here? Usually, what I would do is just, add the bones and stuff, but I had an idea, since, for Katie, there's like an alternate version of Katie in the film or so. Oh, I'm not even in full screen. There's like an alternate version of Katie in the film or so at the end where she is in a wedding dress or so. So I was just gonna draw that, I was just gonna draw that and stuff because I was like, oh, we can't really do like a separate rig for this. So I was just gonna like draw it out. But then I was wondering, probably as like an experiment, what if I do it? What if I do it, but like make it a switch? So I want to see if I can do that. Like, all I would need to. So I'm not. I've never rigged the character in a skirt or a dress before or anything like that. But I know that I have characters that are going to have it. So I'm thinking I'll start with a short dress or something. Group with selection. I'm gonna copy her thing. I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna duplicate layer, and that's her upper body. For like the wedding dress, and like if this doesn't work, then it's just like the nature of the experiment or so. I am fine knowing it didn't work, but I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna see how it goes. Oh. I know with like the way her body's designed, it's gonna be weird. Trying to design a dress around it. A dress. Okay. I'm going to go right there. No. Okay, I'm at 1 pixel. I think it at least needs to be 4. Oops. Shoot. I need to actually pay attention to what I'm doing. Okay. So, actually, it would be better if I go it from the bottom, maybe? You may ask why I'm recording in such of these bursts or so. I do genuinely, I am enjoying it and all. But mostly, it's a nice thing for me to do. Especially when I'm going under, like, especially when I'm under crisis or whatever. What had happened is, well, I'm sorry. What had happened is, for me, I just got a confirmation email or whatever. So, originally I wanted to, like, do, like, this open house for my school or whatever. Because I wanted to sell some things. You know, I still have, like, okay, number one, I have to say that for my class, seeing what I'm gonna do for this, because I have options. I have options with the way this is going. I think I'm gonna duplicate it too. I might. Hey, it's Friday, you're like, hold on, cause baby, I miss. Sorry. Anyway, we're gonna make this, can make this wedding top. Anyway, I do crafts and stuff, but like outwardly, not outwardly. What I was gonna say is convert to switch. That's not right. Because it feels like it should have a lot more. And maybe it does. Maybe I'm just not seeing it. Well, if it's not, then I'll take care of it later, probably. So, like I said, hold up. I'll be right with you in a second. When I remember. We're also going to group with selection on this one. You can't see it properly. Bottom. Lower body. I'm not tired, but, hold up. And we are grouped with selection, I assume. We're going to duplicate. I'm going to call this wedding body. And then I'm going to make it white. I'm not just going to make it white. I might raise this. It's right here. Nope. Nope. Okay, let it do what it wants. I can raise it still. It's all about how much I'm going to end up raising this. Lumi's back in the window. Tearing up. I bet you guys are dying to know what I was actually going to say. No, you're not. Well, anyway, I'm going to say it like this. Where are my things? Do I not get any? Because of the way I was like, where are they? Guys, I don't have any thingies. I don't have any thingies. Where are, oh, there they are. I didn't have any thingies. Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad. It looks so bad. Oh, hold up. I kind of want to position it a little bit higher. Because this is a dress, you know. Make me want. See, I knew something was wrong. I knew it. I knew that this was off. And they were going to say, like, oh, no, it's not off. It's not off. Yes, it is. Look at this. Anyway, I do crafts and stuff. For my school, they were doing, I have like a ceramics class or whatever, so we're making bowls and stuff. Bowls, nice bowls. And so, we had this whole thing of like, oh, well, you can come to like this open house or whatever, and you can sell some of your stuff, and it's gonna be neat and awesome and stuff. And so I had like signed up for it and like did like a whole like QR code thing, and he said that he was gonna send like the reminders for it, because like I would decently like to sell things, because like not only is like really the only ways artists can actually make their money, but like also for me at least, I just want at least a bit more opportunities to sell, especially since whole like dealing with financial crisis and all that. I got more into it in the last one, but I'm not doing that. I'm not saying it here. Besides, like, just the fact that not on me personally. Okay, maybe on circumstances surrounding me, but for me, hello. We'll make this a switch. Make you convert on the switch. What was I saying? What was I saying? Does anyone know what I was saying? I don't know what I was saying. Oh yeah, like financial stuff. Like, not technically on me, but also I'm like surrounding it though. But you won't get that what that means. But what I was saying, this is upper what? Upper right leg. Okay. Group selection. Upper right leg. What I was saying is, I wanted to like do the sell and stuff. It's weird with like professors and stuff. Like he was saying that, oh well, put it here to know like the email that you want me to spam you for, haha. And he was supposed to like, he reminds us about a lot. But like with this, nah. No. With this, I guess it wasn't important for him to remind us. Because like it turned out because of that, like only one person actually made the sale, which is accidentally reference layer. That's not what I want to do. I do not want to reference layer. I want to duplicate. How do I duplicate? How do I duplicate? Okay. Okay, that's how I duplicate. I'm sorry. Huh? Did I duplicate this? Oh yeah, I did. I was confused. Okay, so like it's very weird that he reminds us of that, he reminds us of everything, but for like the sale he didn't do any reminders there. So I thought, because I had thought it was the 14th, but it turned out that it was like the 7th or so. And like I had like asked him about it, like, oh, like when was this? And it was like, oh yeah, it was like actually the 7th, and studio cleanup is on the 15th or whatever. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. It's ridiculous that you didn't tell us in that way, because I've been looking to sell things for a while. Because like it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But I'm just like trying to like communicate it in this way to guard off my extreme disappointment in what has happened here. Because especially for me, try to like strategize in that sort of way where I know I can like do this, I can do this, I can do that, or whatever. But when it doesn't work in that way, I get very discouraged. I mean, it doesn't stop me from doing anything, but like I still go back. I'm not making left or right for this. I'm sorry if you were expecting more there. I'm doing the thing where my throat hates me when I talk. Maybe I'm just not meant to talk. But I can still narrate. You see? Isn't this nice and white and pretty? Oh, that made it sound very, that made it sound very white nationalist. Very nice and white and pretty. No, I'm not a white nationalist. I'm not even white. But yeah, really, not even white. Not even close. I'm on the opposite spectrum, actually. It seems to be attached to lower body. No, it needs to be another layer entirely for the skirt. So what we're gonna do? Oh yeah, I was thinking about white nationalism. I think it's a funny concept. I mean, it's terrible, obviously, but it's a funny concept. I mean, you gotta get it to get it of why it's funny. Because, like, in general, I just think racism itself is awful, but pretty funny. And I remember, I was kind of like, I remember, because, like, I think I explained that I'm in the Sims community or whatever, and you know, the Sims community now is pretty, yeah, it's pretty what it is. Hi, Lumi. This is Lumi. You can't see her, but you can probably hear her. Goodbye, Lumi. Yeah, anyway, I'm in the Sims community. I know I said that I think if I was going off of fandom, like The Sims is probably the only active fandom or fan space that I am or was in. So like one day so you know like how the community is, like when it comes to whole things, the Sims community is pretty woke in its way, which don't get me wrong. You know, I have very complicated feelings on this. I have very complex feelings on this in particular, because while I think it's not as bad as other things and I understand it, it also really strikes me as a person. You know, I'm just gonna go at it. It really strikes me as a black person, you know, because a lot of ways that at least like modern leftist communities go about it is it makes it a lot less positive if you are an actual minority. You know, it's weird. It's weird because it's weird. It's weird. I'm sorry, but it seems like you shouldn't think of it in that way. But I think when you kind of like go about it and think about it in this way, it's weird for me because my problem with a lot of I guess like modern leftist communities is that it's kind of run by a lot of the like big people in it are, you know, white able-bodied straight people, and you think it wouldn't be like it because like it's supposed to be like it's not supposed to be, but like the left is also kind of like touts itself as like for minorities and all that, which is cool, which is awesome or whatever, for like the minorities, disenfranchised, all of that. It's supposed to be about that, but and while I can appreciate it for like what it's done, I think in a lot of ways, because like it's run by the loudest voice, which the loudest voice tends to be people who aren't disenfranchised in any way, kind of like trying, or not necessarily, kind of toting up the voices of people who they think they are, people they think follow these things but don't really. You have to get it together. You have to get it together. But That's my problem with it. Cool. So, I guess that's like my issue. My issue, at least. I'm a lot more, I try to be a lot more loving in that way, or so. But, for me, it's a bit of a struggle in that way. Because I feel, I feel like a lot of it in that way is kind of putting up this, idea of, hold up. I need to redo this. No, okay. It doesn't want to do what I want it to do. Which is, fine, I guess. Roll out. What are you? Okay, why? I didn't mean to do you. Okay, that's weird. Oh, yeah. You're wondering how it has to do anything with The Sims. But yeah, that's my modern criticism, and I also don't really like the smugness of it, because I feel like there's a lot of people. I think you have to understand, in a way, that there's a lot of people that experience certain ways, and they do. That I don't get me wrong, I get the idea of like, oh, we're not going to explain it to you. You need to figure it out yourselves. But at the same time, I think it's drawing a lot of people away. I don't think they get that. I don't think they get that. Because, like, if you're saying, I just won't explain this thing to you, a lot of people are looking to understand. They're looking to try to say, they're looking to be better, and it is a whole weird thing when you're going to say that, number one, they're ignorant for not knowing, and saying, okay, despite you being ignorant for not knowing this thing, we also believe that we are also not going to explain this to you. We're not going to explain why you're ignorant here. We're just going to say that, hey, go, like, out and, like, read a book, because it's not our job to explain this thing to you, which I get. Here's the thing, I get it. I honestly get it. But at the same time, it really draws people around. It really draws people out in that sort of way, because you're telling people that they're dumb. You're telling people that they're dumb, you're not explaining anything to you, and you're also casting them out for having that sort of ignorance, which I think is the opposite of what we're trying to get at. Just a small note here. What I mean by that, I'm not even going to go into, like, what I mean by that, but I am talking about people who genuinely have the desire to, like, learn, and they're just, like, ignorant in that sort of way, where they don't understand where they're coming at from, like, you know, I want to be able to experience this, I want to learn, I'm, like, I just don't have, like, the thing for it. I'm not talking about from people who are ignorant and really staunch in their ignorance. Of course, both like, collections are ignorant, but I am not talking about people who are really staunch in saying, hey, well, why don't you, like, give me this or whatever, because, like, I don't like those type of people, because those are the people that are not looking to understand anything. They're just looking to fight. So that's what I mean. It's totally alright for that side to say, hey, I'm not going to tell you anything. You're just dumb. But for, like, there's so many genuine people out there that are just, like, trying to learn, and we just don't give them the opportunity, because we're just like, oh, well, look it up, it's not my job to tell you. I think we should practice more discernment of, like, who is more deserving, not really deserving, but, like, we should practice more discernment of, like, people who are genuinely trying to learn in that way, and people who are just, like, being an ass. The Sims community is just full of that. I guess people call it virtue signaling in a way, but I don't. I don't get it. But I would have to understand a bit more to say if it's exactly that. But I do think there's probably a lot of the type in the Sims community. Because it's always been such a progressive space, a progressive community, as it should be. Because the Sims is, again, made up of a lot of those people. And, I guess my whole, spout earlier is, for me, I would think of myself as a progressive person. I don't see any reason not to be. I don't see any reason not to be, like, literally. But, I like to goof, I like to gaff. Especially considering my own experiences. My own experiences is that I am a person that lives in the body that I have. I am I am black, very noticeably so, female presenting, young, so it's, I have my own experience that comes with that. This is a pretty cute skirt, but it's boring. It's boring and I want to do more to it, but I also understand in a way where I feel like, I'm debating. We have, like, the lower body, which we made, like, a whole thing with, but, like, I was wondering, with, like, the lower body, I understand, like, rigging a skirt to it, but, like, I also wonder if we need it. I also wonder if, like, with the skirt we need the lower body, or I don't know. I haven't decided. I just know this is a really cute skirt. I'm gonna try to do her hair. Because on the alternate switch of this group S selection, we're gonna do this as, is this the left or the right for me? This is the right for me. Upper right on. And then we're gonna duplicate. Do I need to duplicate it? I mean, probably, I don't know. Run to me, confess your love. Don't you know this how I get quiet when there's no one else around? Me and you in awkward silence. If I am doing it like this, yeah, was talking about the Sims community, but with my own experiences, I like to goof and gaff because I've come to the conclusion that I think racism is a funny concept. Because when you actually think about it in that way, racism is just outside of its actual, implications, outside of its actual implications of, racism is a horrible thing that obviously is horrible. I think that racism is just a funny concept because just the idea of being racist, the idea of being racist is hilarious. When you think about it, give me a moment. When you think about it, what reason do you have for actually hating a person for the color of their skin or their culture or anything like that? What reason do you actually have? It's just dumb. Here's the thing. Racism is just such a dumb thing, such a dumb concept. And because it is so dumb, it is hilarious in that way. Because the imagination, the whole thing, the whole idea of someone having preconceived notions of me, and saying, okay, well, because I have these preconceived notions of you, I'm going to display it in this way. I'm going to call you a slur. I'm going to do that. That is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. when you think about it, it is ridiculous. Because what reason, actually? Because, like, it is such an ignorant frame of mind, in a way. Because, like, how, like, okay, here's my thing about it. Have you seen every person in the world? And I know it seems like, oh, what's the important part here? But, like, literally, it's impossible for a person in that way to have known or seen every single type of person in the world, you know? So how are you going to say, oh, a race acts like this way, a race is that way? And I get trauma and all that. Trauma is very valid, I guess. Not really. Here I am saying trauma isn't valid. But yeah, trauma is valid to an extent. It's valid to an extent. But I also would be amiss if I say I didn't necessarily get it. And I'm not supposed to, because I'm put in the body or so where I'm not going to say it would be impossible, but I'm put in a body in a situation where, of course, I wouldn't naturally get racism in that way because I have no reason to display it. And of course, I'm not saying that POC people aren't racist. Plenty are. That's the point of it. It's stupid. So, like, what had happened, and is this my right or my left? I think this is my left. So, how it went about in that way, which I find pretty cool and exciting. Not really cool and exciting, but I think it's funny. Because, like, I was thinking about, like, the land grabs and stuff. The land grabs are a family in the Sims... The frick. The land grab are the family in a lot of games, actually. A lot of the Sims games, actually. They're in a lot of the games. So it really depends on what you're asking. Are you asking for the land grabs in The Sims 3? Or are you asking for the land grabs in The Sims 4? But I was specifically talking about the land grabs in The Sims 4. So I was, like, thinking about them, and I was, like, saying, hey, this family or so, wouldn't it be funny? Wouldn't it be hilarious if they were racist? Mm-hmm. I know you're like, oh man, what is the thing? But, like, here's the thing. Look at what the land grabs are for a second. Like, think about it. Okay, so the land grabs are like this rich, this like rich Caucasian family that are kind of like the conquistadors in a way, where their whole name is land grab. You know, they have their whole thing is that they had in some of the series that they're founders, but like their whole thing is like they're a family with a lot of money, extreme notes of wealth, and that they buy up all the businesses, they buy up like everything, and they just like that's the thing. They buy up the businesses, they buy money, and they're also kind of like scum in that way, where they're also not only are like buying up everything, but they're also kind of like rude and snotty and like snobbish to everyone else. So it was my whole like idea and thing of like, why wouldn't they also be racist, guy? Because I thought it was like a funny thing. Because I had a sim, and you know, like I, as a person of color, I also like doing people of color. So I had like a black sim. And very nice, very cool. I liked her a lot. She was awesome. And I was going to have her interact with the land grabs. And I was like, wouldn't it be funny? Wouldn't it be hilarious if the land grabs were racist? So I was like, okay, is there like a mod for that? And it was a problem because I asked the Sims community. And of course the Sims community are like uppity about like that sort of stuff. So they're like, oh, like when I asked about it and I kind of like framed it in a way like saying, hey, this is how I feel. I like prefaced it like saying, hey, I'm POC myself. I'm not looking for anything that's extreme. I did that. I am not looking for anything that's extreme. I do not want that. I do not want genuine, like actual like bad racism in my game, because I understand for like that of like why you wouldn't do that, because I here's the thing. I have common sense too. I have common sense too, a little bit at least. I have a little bit of common sense. And I know that that's going to be a bugger and that you don't want anyone making a whole, like, genuine, like, attack racism at you. You don't want that. You do not want that. But, like, for my whole thing, my whole idea, group with selection. My whole idea is like just like a fun. I know racism and fun doesn't go in the same sentence, but like I kind of wanted a kind of like this low stakes kind of like just like casual racism, like microaggressions or whatever, because I thought that would be really funny for their characters. But you know, Sims community didn't think that way. They accused me of being racist. I'm like, dude, dude. Because, like, and there's also my problem with, like, kind of, like, the modern community in that way. Because, you know, I can explain it in the way that I feel, but, like, their whole, like, conclusion, okay, like, you want this sort of thing? Oh, therefore you're racist, and this is generally how a lot of, like, at least, like, the online left works in a way, which is why I don't kind of vibe with it in that way. I will always be, like, a liberal, left-leaning person to my heart. But the online left, as debates are, is slop. Because, like, that was my whole thing about, like, trying to understand what a person's saying. I'm not saying that you need to agree with me. Because I think if you're going to have a whole idea of, like, oh, well, why are you wanting to put this in? Then I would say, okay, I believe it's fine that you don't want me to put this in. That's cool. That's cool. But I think a lot of people weren't actually... This is my water bottle. I think a lot of people weren't reading what I was trying to say here. They weren't reading it. Because, like, they were too busy accusing me of racism. And I'm like, okay, I experienced racism. I know how racism feels. I know what racism is. If you actually took a chance to actually read anything... I'm not trying to be, like, the whole, like, smug thing, because I don't like it. But, like, when I was, like, explaining myself out, and I don't really necessarily need to explain myself or whatever, but, like, when I was, like, trying to take the chance, it seems like, okay, well, here's, like, this whole accusatory thing, and I think people need to realize for the Sims community, like, it's a whole thing of, like, I guess, like, sort of like violent video games in a sort of way. Like, how are you going to, like, say one thing is okay and another thing isn't? Because, like, the idea of, like, having a whole, like, modern show for, like, casual or so, like, racism that's supposed to be funny and kind of, like, kind of rag on the person that is actually racist or so. Because it's, like, making a joke of racism. Which I believe that I, at least, should be allowed to make a joke of racism, because I think it's stupid. I think, especially giving the idea of, like, have to experience it. Especially, like, casual racism, because, like, that happens so often. I think everyone that is outside of the actual thing thinks of racism as, like, this, that it's always, like, I don't know, like, always lynching, or always, like, just, like, slurs to your face. No, racism, in a lot of ways, for a lot of people, is really casual. It's just, like, it is really casual, like microaggressions. I don't think people really understand that. I don't think so. We're calling this bangs, too. So, for me, let me make this a bit, because I don't know what I'm going to do for the bangs in this section. Because I just know that she's going to have them. I don't know what they're going to look like. They're going to look like this, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I was saying that was kind of my thing about it. That I didn't... Huh? Oh, yeah, I'm labeling this bang. So, bangs. And, hold up. Hold on. Roll out. I forgot where I was, but, like, I was explaining it in a way of, like, yeah, in The Sims, they kind of, like, have, like, this, racism thing, or, like, a speciesism, because, like, werewolves and vampires they don't like each other. They immediately start off with a negative relationship. And so I was like, okay, I want something like that. Whereas like something casual, something really neat, because you don't have race in The Sims anyway. Like, they're kind of like just concepts. They're concepts. So that was how I went for it. And like, another black person has responded, and two black people do not need to think the same way. But they responded, oh, I don't really know why you want to play your game like that. I play my game to like kind of like get away from all that. And I was like, okay, I believe and I think that's great for you. But I also, as me, as a person, we don't need to play our games the same way. Some people want to play their game like Animal Crossing. Some people want to play their game like GTA. I am like in the middle of that. And it's very hypocritical coming from the Sims community itself, because this is the Sims community that has wicked whims. So what is the difference between, okay, you want a sex game. And I'm not saying that like sex and like racism are the same thing, but okay, they have wicked whims. They have extreme violence. You want sex and violence in your game. Some people, and like the person I was talking to, like the actual like black person, they were saying that they don't necessarily do extreme violence anyway, and they don't get that, and they're not supposed. I'm not saying that they should or need to in any way, but like the same community whose popular mods are Wicked Whims, which is a sex mod, Basemental Drugs, which is a drug mod, Extreme Violence, which is extreme violence. Extreme violence. You're talking to me about racism? You're talking to me about racism when these are some of your community pillars. I'm not saying that these are their only community pillars. Obviously, The Sims 4 has a lot of mods, but like the fact that these mods are so popular, these mods are like really, really popular, and you're talking to me about racism. Don't you dare. You're talking to me that racism is going too far when you guys want to murder people? And here's the thing. It's not real. I know it's in that way. It's not real. And that's my thing. I know what I am engaging in is something I'm choosing to engage in. And I know that it is not real. But here's the thing. Do you guys know it's not real? Do you guys know it's not real? I don't get policing someone's own way of doing about it. I think if I was trying to legitimately, and it's not like I don't get it. It's not like I don't get the idea of it. I 100% get the idea of what they were trying to get at. But at the same time, I think it's stupid. I think I'm allowed to think it's stupid in that sort of way. Because for me, as a person that's been in the Sims community, and I know a lot of that, I think it's weird for people that kind of like tout on these mods to like say that I'm not allowed to like this thing. And of course, I get it. I don't want the Sims community to be a collection of racists. I do not want that. That's the last thing I want. But at the same time, I think we need a little bit more, at least, literacy on our hands. A little bit more. Just a little bit more literacy. And I don't want to make it sound like, oh, I'm all like that or so. Because I'm not. Because I understand. That's why, like, I wasn't arguing it. I was, like, saying, hey, this is what I want here, and I'm trying to reframe this in a way that people can, like, understand and get. Because the last thing I want people to think is that I want to bring violence and destruction and despair into the community, because I do not want to do that. But I do think that we can have a laugh about some things. And, like, someone, like, recommended the kind of, like, political world mod. And the political world mod is kind of, like, what I would want in a way. Because I have a sim that's now pretty much mean to all occults. Mean to, like, just hates occults. And, like, I love him now because he's, like, legitimately awful. And maybe that's just, like, me just, like, liking bad things in that way, liking bad characters. I mean, my favorite character is Cartman from South Park. Not my favorite character in general, but he's, like, my favorite from South Park. Is he my favorite from South Park? He's one of my favorites. I like Cartman and Kyle. Here's the thing. I love Ultimate Good and I love Ultimate Evil. I like Hartman and Kyle. My favorite characters from Danganronpa are Kiyotaka and Kokichi. So, I love Ultimate Good and Ultimate Evil. I think there's a dualism. Even in my own things, I do that too. Because, like, I have, like, he's not Ultimate Evil, but, like, I have my character, his name is, like, Leo and stuff. And, like, his whole thing is being a bastard, being pretty unpleasant to deal with, and like Aiden trying to figure out a way of like trying to make him less unpleasant to deal with. And like Aiden's whole thing is he's supposed to be like this kind of like moral being in a way, like he's a demon, but he's a moral kind of like this guy, and he's a genuinely great guy, a genuinely good guy. And so I've always been like fascinated with things in that way of like, I guess, like, just ultimate good and ultimate bad. Or, not ultimate, but, like, bad concepts, bad people, and, like, just trying to, like, figure it out in that way. I'm interested in that. I'm interested in it. I guess it's because I like exploring things. I like exploring topics. Especially comes to a head in my own, writing or SWO. I'm gonna label you as Bang too. I think it especially comes in my own writing or so, which is what I was actually saying. Because in my own writing, hold up. In my own writing, it was explained in the last one, but you're not seeing it. But I have like this character who is I have like this character who's like a prostitute or whatever, which is cool and all that. Cool and all that. But like her whole thing is like she's a prostitute. I get to learn about sex work, so that's very cool for me. I like learning about stuff. But yeah, her whole thing is like she's a prostitute and she's also like a major misandrist, which is cool for me. It's cool for me because I like framing a character in a way where I'm talking about something that's like, you know, ultimately negative, but I can kind of try to make it in a way where like, okay, well, maybe this character has like this big flaw. Oh, she's a misanthrope and a misandrist. So, I like being able to frame in a way where you get to really like go into like why they believe the things that they do, and you're making a character more human in that way. If like, even if you don't necessarily agree with the idea, like I don't agree with misandry. I understand why people are misandrous, but I just don't vibe with it necessarily. Because that's my whole thing. I think it's very maybe if I had more experiences with like men in general, maybe I would feel that way, but I also wouldn't want to feel that way, because that's my whole issue, my problem. It goes back into the racism thing that for me, you know, I view racism as stupid, and like a major part of it is viewing people as a monolith. So for me to be a misandrist, it would also kind of force me to view a whole section, a whole, like, you know, half of the general population, or at least I think it's less than half now, but like generally half of the population in a very negative light, and that would be kind of like going against my code of conduct in that way, because it shouldn't be all men are bad, because there's a lot of men that can be good. So to view all men are bad in that way, I'm not saying that I don't get why people would go that way, and I think this is a lot more informed by trauma, which I completely understand, and I think people have the right to view that way. But I think people that don't necessarily have that sort of trauma and just like doing it as a feminism thing, which I'll go into feminism in a second, but probably, I don't know, maybe when the topic comes up I can explain, maybe. But like for me, I wouldn't really want to be, because I have a very big thing about not viewing people as a monolith, because I don't like that as a person who is black. So you get a lot when you're POC, so you don't really want to like put that same sort of strife on any other person, you know? So that's my whole thing about it. Hair, back. You can tell when I'm not working. She bald. I'm gonna raise that up. She's not bald. But anyway, still, I like learning about things. Like, that's how you can, I think the more you learn, the more sympathetic you can be, the more that you can understand people. Because, like, for the longest time, I was, like, trying to actively understand people in that sort of way. Because I don't think there's necessarily a reason to be hateful in that way when you can opt to try to understand. I don't need to even have this on. Oh, what? It's weird for me to talk about being hateful when I'm talking about misandry. Like, I still think there's a lot to understand, you know? I still think there's a lot that you can understand if you open up your mind in a way. Like, you can, like, that's why I'm sympathetic to misandry, even if I say I personally, it goes personally against my conduct of how I like to do things, because I can be a lot more sympathetic towards it. I can be a lot more understanding of it, and I think it's really good that we can put ourselves in situations where we're able to understand. At least that's how it is for me. I like learning about it. I like just understanding in that way. That's the thing. I'm not trying to say like, oh, I'm like the ultimate like understanding person or whatever. I don't think so. I do not believe that of myself. But what I do believe is that I have the ability, that I have the ability to, I have the ability. I am going to stop doing that. But yeah, that's what I'm saying, is that I do believe, in general, I have the ability to learn more and kind of try to understand more, because I feel like that's what we need to do as people. Because what's the actual point of, like, closing off your mind to things? I think that's just kind of, like, anti-knowledge in a sort of way. And I don't want to act in a position where I'm kind of like being kind of like representing like this anti-intellectual sort of view. I'm not saying that people have to view in that way, but I just think that there's a lot of things in the world that you could learn about, could understand about. I don't get why we shouldn't. What time? Do I have anything that's really profound or acknowledgeable or whatever? I don't think so. Unless I was talking about something else. But I think I actually managed to stay on topic. So I don't think I have anything else. So I'm gonna talk about, I got nothing to talk about. Group with selection. And if I find something to talk about, I'll talk about it. Sure thing. Ponytail. If this works out how it's supposed to work out, it's going to be super nice. We're going to convert you into a switch. We're going to make you a ponytail. I'm sorry. You know, I got moho on sale. Moho has a lot of sales in general, but I had gotten it for one of the Christmas sales. I've gotten it, and so it was nice because at the time, you know what? Since I missed the last one, I can talk about OpenTunes. So I had been working in OpenTunes for like a while, I had been working in OpenTunes for a bit. That was my thing. I was working in OpenTunes. And as I was as I said in like the last one, which I don't know if you gotten, since I don't know if I'm gonna put it out, or if it has been put out, then I'm going to have to do like a repeat here. But there's no problem with OpenTunes itself. It's just it depends on what you're trying to do with it. For me, OpenTunes worked in its way when I was trying to do more traditional work or so. When not traditional, like frame by frame is what I mean. But yeah, it really works for frame by frame in that way if you're trying to do that. But for me, I also wanted to try to get into rigging because I thought frame by frame was taking too long. But here's the crux, so here's the conclusion to that. Both take a long time. But anyway, I was working in OpenTunes. That's how I started off, because OpenTunes is free. And at some point I had at some point I had been in the market for trying to get I had been in the market for trying to get animation software, a new one. Not because there's necessarily anything wrong with this, but like, you know, I was in the market for trying to get a new software and all, and I had oh man, I had been in the market for trying to get a new software, and what happened is blah blah blah. I was originally going to get Toon Boom, but like, because Toon Boom, and I was very strict about not wanting to get any sort of Adobe product. I'm just going to keep it as a bun. I don't care. Because I was going to like add some stuff on top, but you know, I can do it anyway. And I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. I'll get through it, but I'm only human. And when I fall down, I'm only human. It's a crash and I break down. Your words in my head. Okay, so I was in the market for getting software, and I was gonna get Toon Boom because I wanted like this software that could like be mine. Because my only problem with like OpenTunes is it's a personal problem. But I had moved computers a lot. So what had ended up happening to me, unfortunately, is that because I was moving computers a lot, I would lose all my stuff. And so I would need to constantly, because OpenTunes only really saves to your computer thing. It only saves to your thing. I'm not saying that Moho doesn't also do, but like it doesn't remember your settings. It doesn't remember all that unless you... Yeah, it doesn't actually remember. I don't think so. So, what I had to do is that every time I had to move my device or so, I have to redo everything and add in everything, and it was super tedious. So, when I had, like, the money from my financial aid or whatever, when I had the money, I had done the thing where I shift. Oh, who are you? When I had the money, I was looking in the market for getting an animation software. And I was going to get Toon Boom because Toon Boom is one of the industry standards. A lot of people use it, you know? And so I was like, gonna get that. But I was like looking at the perpetual license. And it was so much money. So, do I Alt down? Or do I Control down? You know, it's fine. I can take away the world if that's what you need. I can be your everything. I wanted to see what she actually looks like. I gotta turn the ponytail off. I mean, she's cute, but I could do way better. I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure out a way to make this a bit more bling. Not necessarily bling, but like cuter. It would be probably cuter if she had ears, but she's not getting ears. Oh, shiesty. I forgot. I need a whole Baelish torpidile. Where's your stroke? Where's your stroke, man? Where's your stroke? Do you have a stroke? Oh. You guys remember what I was talking about? I don't. I don't. I'm like, oh yeah, I was, on a software. Hold up. Okay, I'm gonna try to talk. I'm gonna try to talk and remember what I'm saying. So, I was on the roll for a software, and, I forgot when I even heard about moho. It was like just like such this bizarre thing. But yeah, you know what? I do not remember how I heard about moho. But I at some point I guess I heard about moho because I was like, this is interesting. I find interest in this program. And so what I have done, is it alt down? Alt down? Yes, it is alt down. So yeah, I was pretty interested at some point. I had heard about it. I don't know when, I can't remember. But I had gained interest in this program. So I was like, okay, well, what I know is that Toon Boom is like expensive. Toon Boom is pretty expensive for especially for me, a more hobbyist in a sort of way. I could do better, goddamn. Maybe I should cuz it's a whole thing, you know, it's a whole thing. Cuz like I want to do better. But I also know that for me, that I'm trying to have this be a thing where I'm not out here just like doing things. I know you don't get what I mean, but like I was trying to have it be a thing where I'm being Wait, why did I do that? Oh, wait, hey, I want it back. I want it back. Can we have it back, please? I'm trying to not do too much. That's what I'm trying to say. That I'm not trying to do too much. Can I undo? Can I undo? Okay. So I think instead of like what I was doing, I'm just gonna add more points. So if I add more points, then I have a bit more control of like what things are happening. Yeah, this is what I wanted. This is what I wanted. Yeah, this is exactly what I wanted. And so I'm gonna points here. And then I'm gonna double this off. And then I'm gonna round it out. But yeah, I got moho. I got moho. And I remember after I got moho during that, because like I also got moho because it was on sale during that time. Because like usually it's like 200 something, but I got on like a Christmas sale for like thing. And I was like wondering at the time, like, oh, should I really get this, you know? Should I really get this? But like I was like, okay. So my whole thing was okay, I have like this thing, I can get it now. I can get it now, but I'm not sure. But my whole thing that kind of like pushed me over is having a software I could own forever. I wanted that. I wanted that so hard. So what I did was I bought it. And then I didn't use it for like months. I didn't touch moho because I had gone in it one time. And I was so confused that I did not touch it. Yeah, that's what happened. So yeah, I didn't touch moho, and until one day, I decided I wanted to touch it. Not that I'm molesting moho. Sorry, I needed to make that joke since I'm saying touch a lot. But I decided that I wanted to try using moho, and I did. I started with the little course or whatever. Started with that little course, and since then I didn't complete the course. Kind of. I mean, technically I kind of completed the course, but no, I did not complete the course. Here's the thing. The reason why I didn't complete the course is because I didn't want to. I didn't think a lot of things were going to be necessary at that time. I got pretty far into completing the course, though. So I think it works out in that way, at least. I'm going to put these back here. Above the lower body, though. She's so cute. Is there anything I can do better? Probably. We might be coming up onto the point of like where I need a break, but I want to start doing the bones first. Like, she's cute and all. I think she's really cute. But at the same time, I feel like I should be, I feel like I should add more to the skirt. It feels boring, really boring. This is why I've been trying to protect myself against, because I'm supposed to not do this. I'm supposed to be, what's the word? Curvature? Magnet. Where am I, girl? Aren't I supposed to be on the skirt? Oh, I'm on frame 1. Oh, what I was supposed to be protecting myself from doing is scope creep. wanting to add too much, do too much, be too much, trying to protect myself from that. And it seems I have failed because I did the wedding dress instead of doing it, I did the wedding dress instead of doing it in the, instead of drawing it out. I mean, I am doing this as an experiment. So maybe it's less bad. Maybe I'm disappointing myself less. But I did that. It's just, I just want it to be cute, you know? Is that so much to ask that I want it to be cute? I just want it to be like a little cute, a little nice, a little, just like have a little bit more going on, you know? Because, like, we only get the one dress. Can you see this? Yeah, you only get the one dress. So that's my thing. I want it to be just like have a little bit more. Just like a little bit more going on. And maybe that's my fault. Maybe I just like am addicted to scope creep. Because like wouldn't it have like a little bit more going on, be like at least cute? I just want the dress to be cute, guys. Is there so much to ask for? Just like to have something be cute. See, that adds a little bit more interest. It adds like a little bit more going on. Just like a little bit. That's what I'm asking for, guys. Just like a little bit more. Just like going on and stuff. Because it adds something. It adds something. It makes it a little bit more interesting. But now I hate it. Like, it adds interest, but now I don't like it. Maybe I'll like it with the arms and stuff. Maybe I'll like it. But I don't know. It just looks boring. And I'm supposed to be solving my thing of like, oh, I'm not going to do this, I'm going to do that. Trying to do it so I'm not falling in the habit of wanting to like do too much. But like, the dress being boring was bothering me. This is a little better than the other one. I think moving it up actually helps a bit. But I do want to make it so that it's a bit less, like, at least like this is a little thinner. Just a little bit thinner. Well, I'm not going to decide now whether I hate it or not, because the answer is probably going to be I hate it. But so I'm just going to continue on. We carry on, and now you're telling, come believe me, your memory will carry on. I think I am going to make this the lower body instead of what I did, because I won't need where's the lower body? Because I did that, but I question if I really need this, you know? So I think for the skirt, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it above the other thing, because I don't think I actually need it. I'm gonna paste this. So responsible. Ah, that's cool. Look at that, look at that, look at that. I'm going to keep myself from having too much fun. So, okay. Besides her shoes, we got her wedding dress set. Is it weird that I don't think I want to do her shoes? I don't want to do her shoes because I don't like doing shoes. But at the same time, I gotta admit that the shoes are actually, unfortunately, pretty important. Of course, I do it where it's, unfortunately, really important. But I'm not doing the shoes, okay? I'm not doing the shoes. You're not even gonna make me do the shoes. I'm not gonna do the shoes. I'm just gonna have to draw it. I know later I'm gonna feel like, oh, why didn't I do the shoes? But right now, I am very happy that I did not do these shoes. So responsible. So this is the... Let me make sure everything is actually a switch. Switch. Shake it off. Shake it off. Oh. If there was something I was talking about before this, I do not remember. I apologize. Just unfortunately gonna have to deal with me doing that. Which, why is it all the way over there? See, because you're all the way over there, I don't know what I'm working with. So I can start on the bones. Where's the bangs? Is this a switch? Bang should be a switch. And hair back should be a switch. Okay. So I think everything that needs to be is a switch. So how it should work is I'm gonna switch it back to... Oh, you're not on. I forgot to make the ponytail switch. Convert to switch. So what I should be able to do is switch it between hair, back, ponytail, and this is all depending on if I can actually find her bangs. Let me make that the color it needs to be, because I'm having a hard time finding things, as you can maybe see. Is this in coral? And this should be in orange? I think this is orange, but to me it looks not orange, it looks yellow. Well, I guess it's orange. But for me, the coral looks more orange, which is why I made it that way. But, yeah. And you're supposed to be blue. Blue. This does actually really help me finding things. Okay? And I think you're supposed to be cadet blue. Okay? And so I switch you to where you need to be. And for you, I switch you to where you need to be. And for the upper body, I switch you to where you need to be. You see, she's back. So, I'm going to delete this. This is the freehand mode. I'm probably going to... Okay, so now we start on the bone, which I'm probably going to do in the next thing, since I've been sitting here for a while. So that was me just doing the dress and stuff. And then next time I'm going to start on the bones, because I'm sure it's probably been over an hour. Or at least a long time. Okay.